goosebumps every time, yeah, 713. Do the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low-key. I'm sipping low-key and honest, rider. I get those goosebumps every time. I'm around, yeah. I'm hard to make everything go fine. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around me, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time.
Up the mods. Yes, sir.
Beneath these.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They're parked well away for the next week.
Yeah. Far away, as they ever were. No. Welcome to Loaded Mag NUFC, the reaction show. We haven't had one of these for a while. A downbeat reaction show. Hopefully it's the first and the last, maybe, of 2025. But let's see how we go. Pete, how are you getting on? Apart from the game, how are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm fine. Other than the game today, what's that?
How's the back?
It's getting there. It is getting there for sure. I've kind of held off the meds last couple of days because in the evening after a long week, I had a couple of brandies. So it's not mixing with any meds or anything silly like that. But yeah, from tomorrow I'll be back on the meds religiously, and it's getting better. So on the way back, I'm not back to doing what I normally do day in day out, but I'm getting there. Certainly able to sleep with that pain. Put it that way. So that's always a positive sign. But other than the result today, it's been a great day with the kids and the family and stuff. So that's something you always got to take away from football. But what about you, mate? How's things?
Yeah, me all good. I said I get all my jobs done out of the way this morning, and then settle into the game, and then after the game, I fancy doing more jobs just to relieve the pain. Looking forward to. We have to talk about it. We're going to talk about this. Relive the pain, so then we can go again. Looking forward to then tomorrow, and just actually, my little boy has a soccer tournament tomorrow, so. Take a change of scenery, so looking forward to that. No Chris tonight. Actually, everyone. Chris has something on this tonight. He said before the game. He had.
You sure?
He did. In fairness, now we could throw him under the bus, but no, that wouldn't be nice. We'll save that for another time. He had a leave of absence tonight, but. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's relive the action. Right, so this was the team news. I didn't even get to see Wade is yet. I've been busy yesterday evening. But this was the team news, and I believe it aligned with what you were thinking. It's pretty much unchanged with Shar back on the bench. But I would have gone with the same squad, to tell you the truth, as well. Even though some of them might have been a bit tired, I was still was stuck with it. But your thoughts on the line-out, Pete?
Exactly what we kind of said on away days on the match preview, to be fair. That's what we expected the team to be. And it was. The question marks really was Shaw going to be well enough to be in the team, and he was. Maybe a conversation for later on, but interestingly, again, no Matt Target in the squad at all, which may well form a conversation later on. And of course, we saw Miggy in the team, which again I think will come to another discussion later on. But yeah, as we expected, mate, for sure. Yeah. Any surprises for you?
No. This is exactly the exact squad I would have picked myself. So I can't tend to disagree with it. We're doing so well with it; it would be crazy to alter it. But now that we our run of 9 wins on the straight wins are over. yeah, he can tinker with it again and change it up a small bit. But there's a nice break as well between we've a week until the Southampton game, so they'll be refreshed again. This was the Bournemouth team as well, and congratulations to Bournemouth. They were exceptional today. They were really up for it again. Eddie Howe's bogey team. He hasn't been able to get that win over Bournemouth. But you never know. Maybe next time. But let's talk about the actual game. And I'll stop with the goals along the way, Pete, and see where we are. So first of all, I didn't see it, but I presume Bruno won the toss because we weren't playing towards the Gallowgate in the first half. But 3 minutes in, sloppy start from Newcastle. And I put this in our own chat as well. Yeah, Bournemouth should have scored, and when a rebound came from a dub save and it fell to Semenyo, and they should have scored at that stage, but we didn't have to wait long because on 5 minutes, Cliver did score. He after the ball was cut back from Semenyo. Murphy, who kind of wasn't doing as much tracking as I'd like to have seen, but Cliver got in, scored 1-0 Bournemouth. They went ahead. Any thoughts on that first goal, Pete?
It was exactly what I didn't want to see, but in reality and in all honesty, it was what was coming. Wasn't a surprise for me. Unfortunately, Bournemouth were by far the better team. Started strong, started quick, pressed high, really unsettled us early on in the game. We did a few things that helped that. We didn't help the situation at all by the way that we played, but they were certainly at it to begin with. And the goal came, and it wasn't a surprise. It was a lovely finish. I did question initially, Martin Dubravka, could he have got to it? Did he go down too late? Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on that one, but it was a lovely finish. And I have to say, I always look at the first 5 minutes to see how Newcastle United has started, and I wasn't impressed with what I'd seen. I really wasn't. So yeah, I was a little bit worried, to say the least, when that goal went in. What about you guys? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I'm the same, Pete, because you could see it even before the goal went in. Our heads weren't in it or something. But it's early days in the game. You're hoping so that'll change. But okay, fast forward another 15 minutes or so to 20 minutes. We had our first shot. J7 shot over the bar. First real chance for us. 24 minutes. Then we did score because Bruno scored from a header. Came via a Hall corner. Bruno got a bit of space, a bit of push and shove in the box, but got a bit of space. Made a 1-1, and then you could then see. You thought I'd actually have a picture of that here as well, but you could see then. Hey, this could be the kickstart we need now. That this is it. This is the turning point. Everyone was up then. You're thinking we're going to kick on from here after that goal. What your thoughts on that goal from Bruno?
Well, it was a brilliantly worked goal. Really worked. Really good worked goal. Nice to see it from a set piece as well. Lovely delivery in from Lewis Hall. And yeah, we'd almost sucked all of their bigger players right into the goal, towards goal. And then Bruno's just sucked a little bit further deep just to get that header on it. Really good leap. He's not the tallest of players. Got a good leap on it. And I thought it was a brilliant goal. And as that went in, I think both our reactions were a bit like of relief that we were back in the game. Yeah. And I really hoped and sort of expected that, I'm not going to lie, that we would really kick on then and take the game to Bournemouth, but we didn't. We kind of went back into the kind of role that we were playing previously, which was putting us under pressure. And yeah, I was really disappointed with that. But the goal in isolation, lovely goal, and it just showed what we were capable of doing. We didn't have many attacks, but when we did, we looked dangerous, and then we get the goal. So you think from previous matches, we're going to go and take the game to them.
Sorry, Pete, side note, that calmness there in your voice, I thought I was listening to Lee, your brother Lee. It just sounded like Lee there, though you're describing that. We'll move on. Right, let's move to the physical battle. J7 was loving that. He was everywhere. He's putting himself about. On 39 minutes, 39 minutes, Gordon had a shot which was deflected for a corner. Like there's not much action happening for us in that first half from the notes. Then 43 minutes, Newcastle, they kind of fucked things up again because Bruno lost the ball. Now I he's so good at holding the ball, and he's always there to take the ball, but he lost the ball, and there's a pass that went to Kluivert, who easily is started at home. It was just very poor all around to make it 2-1, right so close to half time as well. Such a pity to concede at that stage. But thoughts on that one, Pete?
Yeah, really disappointed with this goal that we conceded, Dad. Really poor goal to concede, all our own doing as well. You know, we get back in the game, it's 1-1, it's on a knife edge, it could go our way, it could go theirs, and we gift it to them. We gift it to them in two ways. You know, Byrne has the ball, and look, I need to explain this. So I was explaining it to the Midland Mags lads in the chat. I think it was at half time. In this situation, what we'd found is in the 10 minutes before the second goal came about, we started to play differently. So the way in which it mapped out in the first half, we wanted to play that possession game, using Dubravka, bringing it out from the back. It wasn't working. They were pressing us too well. They were pressing us hard up the pitch. They were winning the turnovers, the second balls, and so we changed tact. So in that sort of 10 minutes, we started to go a little bit longer. We were missing out that early pass, that early defensive pass across the back and working it out. We're going a little bit longer, and it was working. It was getting us up the pitch. We were causing problems. We scored the goal off the back of it, and it seemed to be working. And in that moment, it's almost like we reverted back into that old type again. So Byrne gets the ball, and rather than go, right, okay, let's look to the wings, let's look to Gordon, let's look to Murphy, let's try and put it beyond them. Because they will push, their fullbacks were pushing up just as high as ours were. It was almost game tit for tat. It was the same thing. So put it on them and let us run in and behind, like we were getting a little bit of joy on. But he keeps the ball, and he's like backing and forth, and he's backing and forth, and it's like, just play the ball, because you're going to invite pressure. And it did, because they know, and we know, that when we dilly and dally on the ball, on go-to pass is going to be the ball inside, and the only one there was Bruno. So all they did is have two men come closer and closer and closer, with the longer that Byrne takes with the ball. He then plays it to Bruno, which, you know, if he's playing in the six, that's fine. But when you're playing a different way, you need to just go long. And some people have like blamed Bruno for this, and maybe partly to blame. But when you're playing a ball to a number 6 midfielder, or a midfielder that's dropped deep to receive the ball, he's got two men on him. He's looking towards his own goal, so he can't see what's behind him, whereas Byrne can see the whole picture. Don't give him the ball. Don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. It's very clear that Eddie Howard said to them, go longer, stop with the short passes. Dubravka was doing all of his goal kicks long because they've gone, no, we're not doing it now, we're going long instead. So why play that inside pass when you know he's under pressure? You're inviting it yourself. And so he's played the ball into Bruno. Bruno was having too many touches on the ball anyway in that game. He was having 4, 5, 6 touches when he didn't need it. And so, you know, he takes that extra touch. They nick the ball off him. He doesn't quite get the pass to, I think it might have been Tino Livramento or Joe Linton, can't remember which one. He tries to, like, last ditch, get the ball over, and then they break, and yeah, it's a goal. For me, I think Dubravka needs to do better. It's the classic Dubravka sort of diving behind him to look like he's diving to get the ball, but not quite doing that. And I'm not here to hammer Dubravka. He had a decent game. He had some real poor moments, but he had some good moments as well, which kept us in the game. But I just think it was poor goalkeeping. But the other bits before that were really poor, and that's ultimately what caused the goal. And it was so frustrating because we got ourselves back in a great position, and then we just throw it away by our own stupidity. We've just got to learn from our mistakes. We've got to keep doing what we've been told to do and ensure that we're doing those things right. And it brings to a bigger conversation, but that's just where I am with the goal. What were your thoughts on anything different than what I've said?
No, I see Arsenal have gone 2-0 up. I feel that, by the way. No, for me, I'm not going to really criticize anyone too much either, because look at the excellent run they've all been on, with nine straight wins. So it's there's a lot of, I think for me there's only one player that had a good game today. I will get it to the end, but or had a decent game. But there's a lot of poor performances today. Bournemouth, they've done their homework on us. They were able to read us. They were ahead of us. They knew where the ball was going before we even played the ball. So they were able to intercept it at different occasions. And I'm definitely not throwing Bruno under the bus at all either, because he's the only he's like him and Tonali are the ones that go and seek the ball out and get us out of trouble, or they have so much of the ball. Now and again they are going to lose it. So so you can't. It's just unfortunate that even then that our centre backs didn't wake up a bit more as well, and try and cover in some fashion. But it was the way it worked out. We're 2-1 down at this stage, but then like 2 minutes later, you think again, okay, now they'll wake up again and go for it. But Bournemouth go again. Hall takes a heavy touch. Lucky enough, Bournemouth kind of ran out of road, but they should have really been in again for a third at that stage. Then after a few challenges, J7 decides to sweep the leg of Clivert. It was only a matter of time really, though, before it all kind of kicked off, and it was leading that way. J7 was relishing that, but yeah, then right before halftime, Tonali had a shot, and then it was saved. At halftime we go in 2-1 down, and definitely at this stage Bournemouth play the better team. But you think we're still in this? We could come out in the second half and kick on again. But any other thoughts on the first half, Pete?
Yes. So my initial feeling, and this kind of ran through for the rest of the game. My initial feeling is that the boys weren't prepared mentally for that game. I don't know whether it was fatigue, tiredness, the timing of the kickoff, because there seemed to be this universal opinion about an early kickoff and how it's not good. Well, look, everybody has to do it. It is what it is. So we just need to get on with it. Using it as an excuse cannot be an excuse for a Premier League football team playing an early kickoff, and it cannot be an excuse for the fans either. Everybody has to do it. So I don't know what it was, but mentally it wasn't. The players weren't there. You could tell. Everybody's first touch was absolutely shocking in that first half. Every first touch was bobbling away from them. The amount of times there was a good pass being played in, or a good pass being found here or there in a good spot, and the first touch was bad, whether it was Isak, whether it was Bruno, whether it was Gordon, whether it's Joe Linton, whether it was Tonali, whoever it was. Lewis Hall did it time and time again in the first half. The first touch was so poor, and it just allowed Bournemouth to get back in. And you could tell we just weren't on it. We weren't there. We weren't where we were in previous games. And that was the worry. And I just hoped that we could get in at 1-1 at half time. It was like 43rd, 44th minute when they scored. And it's just like, just see out the half, regroup, and go again. These guys had an 11 available, and that was pretty much it. All they had was 11. So you thought the longer it went on in the game, and it was a draw, or we were drawing, that you could use that as your motivation to go and win the game. But it was the complete opposite. We just weren't at it. It reminded me very much so of the West Ham game, that we just weren't at it no matter what we were doing. It wasn't working. And so it proved. So yeah, really, really poor first half. One of the poorest first half since probably the Brentford game, I would say, that I've watched Newcastle United play. So yeah, really disappointing for me, mate. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, let's get into that second half, because change at half time then, because Botman comes off and Schär comes on. But Schär's first action was to pass the ball across the box and give it to Bournemouth. Brooks had a shot, was saved by Dubs. Good enough save by Dubs. We were so lucky there. What was he thinking then? Again, aligning with everyone else. His head wasn't in it. But Newcastle had very little space. Bournemouth are closing down any gaps, so it would find it difficult to find that pass. Tonali had 53 minutes, had a shot that went wide. But it was a nice little move. It did kind of show some creativity. You're thinking, hey, could this be the catalyst to drag us forward? But no, again, ball in the net from Bournemouth. Dubravka saves and the rebound after a clearance. Bournemouth, they put it in the net, but the ball did go out of play. Tonali brought it back into play, and the ball did go out of play. They went to VAR, then they ruled out the goal. It was went for a corner actually. So we're still 2-1 down at that stage. Very lucky, Pete, at that stage to be not to be 3-1 down and game over. Even then.
Yeah. So in the second half, you fully expected Newcastle to take the game to Bournemouth. It was the absolute opposite. Bournemouth, like you said, it was a case of it could be 3-1. It probably should be 3-1. We're lucky it's not 3-1. When's 3-1 coming? Because it just absolutely looked like they were going to get that goal and take the lead. So yeah, it was a massive worry. And I think it was just, you could see some of the players really starting to tire in that second half. Lack of energy, lack of will to track back and cover their men. The fullbacks were isolated in the second half time and time again. You know what annoyed me the most, Daz, particularly about that second half? And I know you're talking about a very particular part, but I just wanted to talk about it as a whole.
Yeah.
How easy it was for Bournemouth to get in and behind us. It drove me insane that second half.
Yeah.
We would be pass, trying to put it through like a little
needle,
tiny like space through the eye of a needle type pass to try and create just a little moment. And then all they would do is just lump it into the channels over the fullback, and they're in. They're literally in, staring down on goal, and we're sprinting back just to try and keep pace with them. How easy it was to get in and behind us in that game was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And the ball didn't even have to be a good one. It could be out into the channels diagonally. And their players would just waltz onto it, and they're in. And they've got two other players running into the box. It was easy. We allowed them to get behind us so easy. And it really did show, particularly that first half, but certainly the second half, the lack of pace in that back line. And I know Trippier came on to kind of steady the ship, but you're bringing on a player that's probably the least fastest of all of those defenders. And I'm not saying he's the reason, but like Botman got caught out, Byrne got caught out time and time again. Tino got caught out, but he's got the pace to get back in and recover, and he did a few times fantastically well, did Tino. But like Lewis Hall really got exposed today. He really got exposed. I'm not saying he was the reason why we lost. I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, he got the assist, which was great, but he really got exposed today. His lack of pace down that side, they exposed him time and time again. Whether he was going too far forward or just not able to get back, I don't know what it was about him in his positioning, but they really exploited him today and really kind of put it on him time and time again. So there was a lot of things that came out that I think Eddie Howe and his team really need to go look back at, because we can't afford for that to happen again. Because if those things get exposed, then it does kind of pull down the rest of the team. If the rest of the team aren't at it, we've been banking recently on having a fantastically solid defense, but today that back five really weren't good, and it really exposed the rest of the team massively.
Yeah, you could go right through the team, and there wasn't many good performances. Not even very good, just good. I'm going to say it now. Tonali was the only one for me that was good. Gordon showed signs, but apart from that, the poor games all around. Well, let's carry on, because subs on 65 minutes, Murphy off, Willock on, Hall off, Trips on. Is it going to change things? No. Dubravka off the line, after a Bournemouth chance. Bruno was fouled a lot. Again, he's looking for free kicks a lot as well. Didn't always get them. 83 minutes. Gordon volley, actually, that was a good volley. Blocked by Housen because that was going in. That would have made it 2-2. That would have been, we wouldn't have deserved it, but that would have made it 2-2. But unlucky there again. Then 86 minutes. Free kick won by Tonali. You're thinking this is trips here, territory here. Even Tonali, but Tonali is nowhere near it. Taking he I suppose he was fouled to win it, but Isak takes it and goes straight into the wall. So then on the 90 minutes, Bruno off, Sula on. 91 minutes, Kluivert with the third. He smashes it in to finish the game. I said there at that stage at 3-1. But Anthony, you want to say on that the hat trick for Kluivert, that his third goal?
Yeah, he was probably the best player on the pitch. I'm not going to lie, I thought he was very, very good. Fair play to him. He was playing in the position that we just can't seem to defend. In my opinion, it's a really, really difficult one. He literally played in that free role in number 10, and he just picked up pockets of space on the pitch that just continually disrupted us, like all the time. And yeah, he exposed us. And he exposed us in his running, in his movement, positioning, but his finishing was excellent. His finishing was really, really good. All three goals. I mean, that the third one, I don't think many keepers are stopping that or even getting close to it, because it's right in the side netting of the goal. The way he strikes it is a bit like, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Jacob Murphy against Tottenham a couple of years ago in that 6-1. Like when you hit a shot like that and it's so far into the side netting, there's nothing you can do.
No chance.
You've just got no. There's nothing that any keeper could have done about that. But defensively, we could have got out and stopped it. We gave him 15 yards of space in front of him to pick his spot. But yeah, look, Justin Kluivert, he's had a great season. What's that? 10 goals, 3 assists now, 13 goal contributions. I know he scored quite a few that are penalties, but he's clearly having a big impact on Bournemouth's team. So fair play to him. I wish they'd have done what they did midweek and put Kluivert on the bench. That would have helped a lot. But yeah, fair play to him. Very, very
yeah. That Justin Kluivert is someone a number of years ago I was thinking he might be decent for Newcastle, but then he kind of went off the boil a bit and didn't hear much about him. But look, we saw enough of him today. I don't ever really want to see him again. 94 minutes, Dubravka then had a save. There's a one-on-one chance because it's like, come on, score again. But then 94 minutes, Gordon had a shot cleared off the line by Housen again, someone we talked about a lot during the summer, as someone we should have looked at. But 95 minutes, Newcastle asleep. Bournemouth make it 4-1. I don't even remember the last 2 goals now at this stage. Do you remember that last goal? I just tuned out. I do now. Yeah.
Stunning player. Stunning. I mean, I look, quite rightly, we blow the trumpet for Lewis Hall being the best left back in the Premier League. But I tell you what, there is a very good argument to say that this guy's better. A player that we were linked with.
2-2 in the Arsenal game.
It is now. Yeah, I've just seen the goal. Ollie Watkins scored. Lovely strike. Not sure what's a good result for us, actually. Whether it's a draw is a good result, whether we want Arsenal to win. Definitely not a Villa win, because that'll pull them very close to us. So we'll see on that one. But Kerkez, I thought, was absolutely sensational. But look, I've seen him play this season. I thought he's been really, really impressive. And there's a reason why he's already looks like he's 90% going to be signing for Liverpool next season. And you can see why, because he's not the tallest, but he's strong. He's good in the air. He's quick. You could tell by his celebration that he's physically built to play Premier League football. He is a real player. And Bournemouth have done a real good recruitment job on getting him in. And another player as well, just while we're talking about it, Dean Huijsen. Knew there was a reason why I was so desperate for us to sign him.
Yeah.
To see how good he was. We didn't know. I didn't know he would be this good. Being honest with you, I knew he was good because he's still really young. But boy, what a centre back!
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, man. He, I'm not gonna. People might not like this, but he pocketed Alexander Isak today, and cleared a couple off the line, with some real big moments. The Gordon volley, and I think there was one later on. I imagine. I apologize if you were.
Yeah, the Gordon twice. Was it Gordon twice?
So, it's there's some good players in that team, and this is why on away days, this is why when I give predictions, when I've got people sometimes coming in the top of their predictions, go 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, and I'm just like, ain't as easy as that. Don't just look at the name of the team, look at their form, look at how they're playing, look at the quality of their football, because this is the reality. We got humbled today, big time. We really did.
We did, but no. In fairness, Bournemouth, the better team won on the day, and probably if it was played tomorrow, they'd still win, because they were really hungry for it. We were complacent across the board, apart from Tonali, and but maybe this is just the kick up the arse we need now as well. I know we've been on a great run, but just a reality check as well. And maybe Eddie does the same again. Sits down and takes his one-on-ones with everyone, and regroup and go again into the game, Southampton, because January is not over. We still have that game against Southampton next Saturday, 3:00. So and that completes our January. But yeah, anything else you want to say on the game, Pete?
I'm going to say something. I'm just look. I tweeted out just before we went live, and I said, "Look, we're going to give it a realistic opinion on this." If people thought we were going to come on here and just absolutely hammer the team and be really angry and frustrated, we've been like that this season. Trust me. This is not one of those days. There is no way that I certainly, and I know Daz feels exactly the same, I'm going to come on here and begrudge this Newcastle United team and have a go at them after they've just put 9 wins on in a row. There's no way that that's going to happen. We can be disappointed and we're frustrated that we lost that game because we know we're capable of so much better, and they just did not turn up today. And I think everyone knows that. We just did not turn up. That's the big issue. And so for me, I'm frustrated by it. It was a really poor performance. Everyone on the pitch was way below their levels. And the one thing I'll say is that we need a reaction. And I have to say, Daz, we have, and you just put the fixtures up just a second ago, we have the perfect reaction game to come into, because we're playing bottom of the league Southampton, the team with 7 points on the board for the whole season. They're not a good side, in all due respect to them. And I think when we talk to Mike this week in the match preview, he will admit the same. We need to go and react next weekend. These boys need to put in a performance. They need to get 3 points on the board, and they need to put in a performance, because it wasn't good enough. But it's in isolation. It was a poor performance. These guys have been excellent for the last 9 games, and so therefore it can turn around very quickly. A lot of teams are playing each other at the moment, just like we're watching the Arsenal Villa game right now. And in this moment, yet we lost, but we can still gain points next week by other teams playing each other, and it can turn all around very quickly. And look, if we go next week and we go and win comfortably, we get 3 points. This weekend won't matter. It just won't.
No, it won't, and we have a lot to look forward to in February as well. But like you're saying, Pete, that we there's no point in spitting the dummy out. We've been on such a great run. Now we take the defeat, and the better team won. We go again. Maybe I'll just share the league table as it's live as well. See if this works. Yes, so we're still in 4th position as things stand, but we have one of these red X's here. We haven't seen one of those for a while. We didn't want one of them. We have one, but Chelsea will play at but they play on Monday night actually against Wolves. I think that's the game on Monday night. Forest play tomorrow, and City play as well over the weekend. Fulham had a win today as well. So yeah, look, it's still all very tight. We said that before with the loss. It's still all tight and to play for me. Yeah, even from second down, but we're still in this battle here, and from you could even throw Fulham in there as well. There's this battle going on here for those Champions League places, those European positions. So all to play for. Anthony, you want to stay on the table, Pete?
Yeah, it's still all to play for. Obviously, we're looking below us. We're looking at the situation. Villa currently 2-2. They're on 36 points, so that'll put them 2 points behind. Chelsea, likely to go ahead of us if they beat Wolves on Monday. So that takes us to 5th place, and then you've got, 2 points behind us, Villa, 1 point behind us, Bournemouth. Man City could potentially go on the same points as us, depending on goal difference. If they win, they could go above us. So there's a lot of things there to look at. The key is obviously Fulham won today quite easily against Leicester, but we have them in 2 games' time. That's a game we should be earmarking to make sure that we win to keep them the distance. If we're looking at the situation by the end of the season, I know there's been lots of talk about Champions League and all the rest of it, which is fine because we're in those positions fighting it out. But ultimately, we want to be first and foremost, we want to be back in European football next season. That's the absolute minimum expectation. So looking at that, with the 5th potentially getting Champions League football, it could be anywhere as low as 8th that could get European football. So we want to make sure that there's a gap between us and 9th place. So it gives us an opportunity to be fighting at least for European football for the rest of this season. So teams like Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, you need to be keeping them at a distance. Brentford losing today is good news. You want Brighton. Who have Brighton got tomorrow? I think they've got Man United. You wanting them to potentially get a point. Man United are right down there, so maybe a point to keep Man United down there. You know what they're like with a run. They'll always pick up some points where you don't expect it. So keeping those type of teams down there. West Ham losing comfortably today was good news for us. And I know they're right down there, but those teams have always got they're capable of putting runs together when you don't expect it. So keeping all those teams from 9th downwards out of the conversation, priority 1. So that's what we're looking at there. Then when you're moving up the table, it is a case of just being as consistent as you possibly can. Forest ahead of us, they could stretch that gap. We would have gone ahead of them today on equal points had we have won, but they've got Southampton tomorrow, likely to win. So that's going to create the gap of 6 points again, which is then has us clawing and chasing that back. But they've got a tough run, so we've got a chance to pull some points back potentially. Chelsea are in and out. You look at their form; they're all over the place. Bournemouth are playing really well, but have had a lot of draws. When they get players back, that could be a problem. Villa, you don't know what to expect. They're drawing.
And the Champions League coming back as well will probably affect them.
But you're absolutely right with the Champions League coming back. Is that going to start affecting performances? I think they've got a tough run coming up, and then you don't know what to expect from Man City. They just made a couple of signings. Are they going to be good? Are they not? It's all up for grabs. We just we were never going to win forever, mate. We were never going to win every single game for the rest of the season. So it's about, okay, when we lose, can we hit back strong? Can we be more consistent than the rest of the teams around us? That's the big thing. And so that's my task for the boys. In my opinion, let's go hit back. Let's go get 3 points against Southampton. Let's go beat Fulham. Let's go 2 wins in 2 in the league. And then I think after that in the league, it's Man City, Forest, and Liverpool back end of February, which that could be defining. So let's make sure we've got points on the board before we hit those 3 games. Like that should be the task. That's with the cups aside for now. Win the next 2, give ourselves a fighting chance going into those next 3, and then let's see how it falls. What about you?
What? I'm thinking there's a segue coming up here because we said after we started, we started at the start of the season, we're winning games, we're playing poorly, and then we went to the run of playing poorly and losing games. So it caught up on us. And we kept saying if we go on a bit of a run and keep ourselves close to European places, when the transfer window opens up, we have a chance to strengthen a bit and kick on into the second half of the season. Now, fast forward, we had a brilliant run, better than what we were thought, and we are well up there. The transfer window has already been open for 18 days and nothing has happened yet. But at the same time, nothing really happens until, apart from City, going down their bit of a spinning spree because they can see everyone is catching up to them and they're not having a great run themselves. But it's really in the next 2 weeks it all kicks off. So maybe now's the time to switch into talking about a few topics that's happening in the background, Pete. You wanted to talk about Miggy, with Miggy being on the bench today, but it has to look at this stage that he's going next week.
Yeah, Alan Top said, saw Bournemouth a couple of weeks and they looked fantastic. Knew today was going to be hard. But everyone in the chat knows rather than getting beat 4-1 today, than Arsenal. I think he's saying rather get beat today than Arsenal. Thinking about the final. Chris is opinionated, saying we effed up, stop pretending. Yeah, of course, it was a poor performance, but let's not be hammering this team. It's one game. It's one game. We could have quite easily lost away at Man United, away at Spurs. We could have lost against Aston Villa. There were tough games there where we could have lost in that run, but we didn't. We won, and we were absolutely brilliant and deserved to win all those games. So look, let's not be too hasty on that. If we go on a run where we lose the next two, then that's a different conversation. And if we can hit back, let's hit back. That's just the reality of the situation. But lots of different points. People mentioning. I think we've covered these memberships, so I'll leave them for now because I think we covered them in the last show. The new members. Tom Dixon says, very poor today. Bournemouth played well and deserved their win. Never mind, it happens. How we'll sort it out. Would be nice to see some new signings in to strengthen the squad. Let's see what happens. What are your thoughts about that, Daz? In terms of, look, we know Bournemouth played well and deserved to win, but do we need to strengthen this team? I've got my opinions on this, mate.
I think it's very hard to read the comments, listen to what your co-host is saying, and to get through the show, because that's the exact question I was asking you a second ago.
Sorry.
Which it's okay. No, because I was talking about Miggy. With Miggy, I know how hard it is, actually. That's why it's very handy with the three of us on. But no, I was asking the question about Miggy, really, I suppose, and with him being on the bench today. But it looks like he's off to Atlanta next week, or is he? Do you have any more thoughts on that?
I am listening this time. Sorry, I was trying to get through the whole chat, and then we'll go straight.
Send it to the headmaster, Pete.
But no, in all honesty, we have to sign. Look, it looks like Miggy's going. The fact that Miggy didn't even get on the pitch today says everything you need to know. When you needed attacking reinforcements on the pitch today, and he was the go-to guy because he was the only one there, and he doesn't get on, tells you everything.
What's the point in having him on the bench then? Okay, is it like, if we're like winning by 2 goals, we throw him on just to wave goodbye? It just doesn't make sense.
I'll be honest with you, Daz. I think if Harvey Barnes was there and fit, I think Miggy would have already gone by now. I think I get the impression that the clubs have pretty much agreed a fee, but they're just deciding on when to release him. And I think the Harvey Barnes situation has almost delayed his move. I think it'd have gone by now. But even with Harvey Barnes in the team, you cannot be in a situation where you sell Miguel Almiron and you go into the rest of this season with one right winger. You can't do it. You cannot do it, because what we've seen today, okay, and this is not hammering just him because the whole team are bad, but what you've seen today is that when Jacob Murphy's not performing at that top level, in matches week in, week out, there's a big drop off. He's either playing exceptionally well or not so well at all. And he's had 8-9 games now where he's been brilliant. But we all knew, let's be honest, nobody expected or had the impression that Jacob Murphy was going to do this continually every game for the rest of the season. He always does it in patches. So what you need then is an alternative. When he's not playing well, bring someone on that can do the job. And so we've got that on our left-hand side. Luckily for us, Gordon generally plays well. But we've got Barnes if he's not, as an impact. What you need is exactly that on the other side. Yeah, keep Murphy playing. And if he's performing and doing the business, then great. But if he's not, you need an alternative. So I understand that. I get the impression Newcastle as a club are trying to spend as least as possible to ensure that they've got as much as possible in the summer so they can go and really strengthen in all areas, which is fine. I've just seen Mikel Merino as well, ex-Mag with a goal. And that's fine if that's what they want to do, because that's great for us. We get to strengthen in the summer. But wouldn't you rather, I don't know, fans might be different with this. Would you rather strengthen with one player, not saying a price here, because we don't know who they're going to target and how much? Wouldn't you say strengthen with a player that's capable of coming into this first team and adding something important for the second half of the season and having a little bit less money, but being able to strengthen knowing that you're playing Champions League or Europa League football? Or hold it all back and there's a potential of us being light and maybe just getting European football or not at all? Like what's the situation here? Like, I know what I would rather. So that's my opinion on it. I think the goal's been ruled out, so it's 2-2 still. But that's my opinion on it. I would prefer them to do that to ensure that we've got enough strength and depth to be able to push on and get what we want to get, which is the aim of Champions League or Europa League football. Like, because we're capable of doing that, but we need strength and depth. But do you have a different opinion on that?
No, I have the exact same opinion. I would do that as well. Strengthen while we were while we're in a good place. I know today's result wasn't such a great place, but while we are on a bit of a run, and we're doing well in the cups. Well, I don't know. You have to be a European player, probably. If we go for someone that has already played in the cup, they're not going to be able to be part of the squad. But it doesn't. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'd bring someone in as well, Pete, and just to boost it as well. Like he even said it before, while we're on the bad run. Before, he said it's himself that things have gone a bit stale, so it needed a bit of freshening up. So why not push that button now and buy someone, even if it's just one player, just to boost it a bit. And like they're not going to score going by any old donkey. Let's say they're going to buy someone that's going to be quality. It mightn't be the elite level that we expect, like a Tonali or a Botman or a Bruno, but someone that can be a squad player as well. Because we do need to bulk out the squad. So yeah, I do the same. I'd go for someone as well.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I just think we go and strengthen now. Otherwise, that'd be 3 windows without strengthening. And when we can't moan at this situation, then if we're not willing to strengthen the team, we can't moan that we've not got players available or we've picked up injuries and this, that, and the other because we haven't given ourselves the chance to strengthen the team. You've got a right winger there that you don't want to put on the pitch, that probably wants to go to America now, wants to leave the club. So you're losing effectively an option. And I'm sorry, I can't have Joe Willett playing right wing. He's not a right winger. I don't want to be shoehorning players into a team. I was calling for Barnes or Gordon to play on the right-hand side. It didn't work. It might have worked for one game, but it didn't work overall. So,
and Joe Linton worked for one game as well. Joe Linton on the right.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
but it's not a long-term fix. You need a specialist player that knows how to play that position. And so, there should be a chance to improve. And I do think that Newcastle United will be looking in that direction. I think they'll be looking at the situation, they'll be scouting the market, and they'll be looking at where they need to pounce. Like that's the thing that I think the club will be looking at. So I do think the back end of this window will be interesting. I think there will be opportunities to sign players in the market. And we've just got to be brave, and we've got to try and get the best we can get from the targets that we've set out from the beginning. So that's kind of where I am with that. But I'm going to run through some of the comments. Andy Ford said, we certainly saw the best left back in the Premier League today, and he wasn't in black and white. Kirkes, what a player. I give my opinions on Kirkes, but Daz, what about you? What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, when I'm watching Newcastle, I'm just blinkered on Newcastle. So I'd have to watch it back again and focus in on him, to tell you the truth. And know as well as watching Newcastle, I was watching how poor we were in across the board in different positions. Like even Tino and Hall weren't great today, and we've been singing their praises all season long. And as I said earlier, for me, for Newcastle, it was Tonali, and he's putting himself about. But yeah, look, I'd have to zone in on him, and and take a closer look at this guy, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Other questions in there. Leighton says mentally fatigued. No excuse, but it was clear. I saw too many uncharacteristic things today from players today. Warning signs against Wolves. Fatigue has caught up. Weeks rest needed for sure. You're the same mindset? Yeah.
I think a week's rest, back to the training pitch as well. When I say rest, it's no games. And one-to-one sessions again. It worked for Eddie in the past, and we went on the run after that. So why not go again? And if it needs some kind of a tweak, I know the big question mark will be whether he goes Botman and Burn, or he goes Burn Char, or he goes Botman Char. It does actually, just from today as well, and the pace at the back, it just highlights we do need to strengthen in the back line as well. Maybe not in January, but in the summer. We need to get a bit of pace in there and on the right. Let's see what happens. So actually, just on Southampton, we were talking about. I only watched the first half of the Southampton Man United game. Southampton looked okay the bit I saw, and I know they kind of fell apart in the second half, especially towards the very end of the game. But they're not as bad as they were at the start of the season, let's say. So just to keep that in mind as well. Don't be expecting us to smash them all around the place either. Let's go out and do the business.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew says, do we worry that when the high press doesn't work, there's no indication of a willingness to change? To be fair, everyone was due a bad day, and they are a bogey team. What do you make of Andrew's comment?
They're a bogey team, all right. They're definitely Eddie Howe's bogey team. Everyone did have a bad day, and look, I don't think it's not like there's one player or two players that had a bad day today. There was about 9 of them that didn't have a good day. Just a collective all around. So just after this, I want to forget about it, to tell you the truth, and just look forward to maybe something in the transfer market during the week, and then getting into the Southampton game and making amends.
Yeah, definitely. Let's have a look. What else is on there? Tony's too annoyed to stay around, so he tweeted this early. He even put this out early, but all I'd say is I put a tweet out earlier on today about the transfer, saying that we do need to strengthen this team. We talked about it just a second ago. Looks like nothing is coming in this month, and in my opinion, that will cost us top 5. I think we'll be scouting the market, as we've talked about. Daz, you said the same. Towards the end of the month, so it's not all bad, Tony. Let's wait and see on that one.
That's Tony's default position every time, every transfer window. Now, he has been right the last few transfer windows, all right, but look, I can't be too annoyed tonight and today because of the run we've been on. Like, we knew it was going to, the bubble would burst at some stage, or no, we didn't think it would burst as badly as it has today. But look, we just go again. That's all we can do.
Definitely. Man City fan, Luke. Good evening. Evening, lads. Hope you're both well. It's a weird season this year. We're nowhere near our best ourselves. Obviously, talking about Man City. Can't predict any game at the moment. These games happen until the next one. Yeah, that's come from an opposition fan, Daz. Definitely, the Premier League season has been all over the place this year.
Yeah, just I was saying to one of my Liverpool mates today, and after the result, and I think I said it a couple of weeks ago as well. There's no, apart from Liverpool being on a run, but okay, they got lucky again today. I turned it off as soon as Nunes scored, actually. But like this, teams are getting closer together. There's no, as I think next season could be really, really tight. If Liverpool weren't the game at hand and they're 6 points clear, if they weren't that far ahead, it could have been different. It could be an interest in this season. But I think next season could be really interesting. And City are starting to worry a bit as well. And that's why I think they've gone out and starting a mini rebuild with bringing in some quality players as well. That's something that we looked at. But it's getting closer and closer. Like Bournemouth, ourselves, obviously, you would expect us to be getting up there because of the project. But Nottingham Forest, this Villa came up from last year. It's getting nicely bunched there. There's 8 teams there that are decent. Like you can't see. Don't think Bournemouth are going to win the league or anything like that. But it's nicely poised. Good advertisement for the Premier League as well, though. If it's right, ensuring it's the best league in the world.
Absolutely, yeah. You're right. If Liverpool drop off and Man City are still playing the way they are as well, being very inconsistent, it's anybody's league. Absolutely. So, who's to say that we can't have a good shot at being up there again next season? The way we are right now. But let's wait and see. But Luke, fair play to you as a Man City fan. Jumping on here. Hope you're well. Rich says, I have to say I don't get all the hype with Botman's performance. It's being back, looks slow. It needs to get up to speed for me. I'll jump in here, Dad. I don't agree with this, Rich. I don't. I think Botman has been excellent in the games that he's played. I think he's looked elite. I think his positioning, his defending has been very, very good. He's never been the fastest, but I think his speed in comparison to before he went for his surgery, when he came back sort of this time last year, is so different. He looks right back up to pace again. This was just a bad game for me. I don't think he played well, but I don't think Burn played well. Tino, Hall, none of them played well. And to be fair, Botman came off at half time, but any one of them could have been subbed. Absolutely, any one of them could have been. And so I'm not going to hold Botman for this at all. And we have to remember he's playing out of position. He's playing right centre back as a left footer. And you had professionals say the same. Playing as a left footer, playing out of position is not normal. It's more normal for a right-footed player to do it, but it's not for a left-footed. And he's handled that really well, apart from the few minutes at Tottenham early on in that game, his first game back after 10 months. I think he's been absolutely fine. I think he's been brilliant. And the kind of the adulation he's been getting has been well deserved. But equally, he would deserve criticism because he wasn't good, but so will everybody else. That's just kind of where I'm at with it. But anything to add, Daz?
No, I was going to say about playing out of position and like give him a chance coming back as well. He's been out for so long, coming back from the operation and the injury, and it just will be interesting to see now what Eddie goes with against Southampton. What partnership he goes with the central defense. I still think Byrne is probably has been consistently our best. so far. So I don't think he can drop Burn.
Yeah, the way he's been playing, absolutely. But he's going to need to jump back in with another big performance, as the rest of the team will as well. Today showed that we don't have the players who can come off the bench and change the game. Surely we need a couple of signings. We've talked about this before, Daz. Would you be happy with just getting one player in, or do you still think that there's a chance we'll get two?
I'd say one now until we get that one, and then I'll come near close to transfer deadline day. I want two. If we get them for transfer deadline day, I want three. So no, look, let's start with one. It's like Eddie, and he's one game at a time. It's been so long since apart from Kelly, who was a free transfer, who might still be going. But no, let's just get one over the line, Alan Pardew, and then we'll see who we are and who it is as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm the same. Yeah. Let's just see. We'll take it one at a time, eh? Exactly. Interesting from Mercury. Has Dubs just cleared the way for Pope to step back in? I thought Dubs made a couple of good saves, one off the line as well, but a couple of real poor moments for him, and his lack of commanding of the area, I think, was a big issue for me today. But do you think Pope comes straight back in, or do you think Dubs keeps his place for a bit longer? What are your thoughts, mate?
For me, I'd still stick with Dubs, but again, it's for Eddie. He and it's a good position for Eddie to be in, because he can use training this week to because his position's up for grabs, and whoever is performing the best. I know Pope has just be back from injury, so maybe we don't want to throw him in straight away. But places are up for grabs. Personally, I'd go with Dubs, because it just, again, linking back to the 9-game winning streak we had. It's just, I know there's a comment there. 9 out of 10 isn't bad. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 out of 10 isn't bad at all. As Tosi says, still an excellent run. Absolutely. And this is why we're taking the stance that we are. We're not coming here to hammer the players today. We know it was a real poor performance today, but we're not going to hammer them because of the fact that we've just done that.
Yeah.
9 wins on the bounce. Yeah, we've lost one, fair enough. But I think if we'd have been sitting back today celebrating a win, but having lost to Spurs or Man United or another one of those games, I think we'd have been looking at this going, actually, yeah, that's not a bad result. That's not a bad run of form. It's only because the defeat has happened today at the end of it. We didn't get the 10 in a row. That's why I think fans are more frustrated. But you ask any other team in the league at this moment in time, would they take this? Would they snap your hand off all day long?
Exactly. Good.
That's
and like another thing, they'd have to change the banner in War Flags. We demand a team that wins. Be shorter, but that's what you're looking at then. If you're throwing everything out for one bad performance, so if it becomes 2 and 3 bad performances, then you can we'll turn up a notch then.
Absolutely. Just a passing comment. Aaron says Tonali was the only one fighting today. Everyone else was off it. Daz, I know you've mentioned about Tonali. I would agree. Say he was Newcastle's best player, and the reason why, in my opinion, is I think he was doing Bruno and Joelinton's job at times in the game. I think he was doing 3 man's work, which is why I think everyone's noticed him as being probably the outstanding player. I have to say, those boys need to help out Tonali a little bit more defensively. I think attacking wise, they like to get forward, they like to create, and that's great, all well and good. But today it showed that we needed that midfield to get back and support their defense, and Tonali did that and made some crucial interceptions, but he didn't have the support of Joelinton and Bruno around him. Whether that was fatigue, tiredness, lack of effort, I don't know. I don't think it was lack of effort personally. I think it was maybe tiredness, fatigue, but they need to help him out. We can't expect him to do it on his own. He needs to support other boys around him. So that's just me on that. But I think it's a very, very valid point to make. Question from Jimmy. You've probably had this before, but if we're always going to struggle with PSR, do you think Newcastle would be tempted to sell someone like Isak in the summer when their stock is so high? Oh, Naz has just gone. I think he's frozen right now. I'm going to answer this question, Jimmy. No, Alexander Isak is an unsellable for Newcastle United, and I think the only way that Alexander Isak decides to leave this club is through him saying that he wants to leave and that he wants out. Newcastle United won't want to sell him at all. I genuinely believe selling someone like Alexander Isak is taking not just 1 or 2 steps back, but 3 or 4, because to get someone to replace him and do what he does is going to cost a huge chunk of that fee, whatever fee you're going to be paying for him. And even then, you're not going to get the same level of striker. And he wasn't great today, but I thought he was managed very well. I don't think he had the service as well on the back of that. So there was lots of factors of why he didn't have a great game. But we cannot sell someone like that. I think, in my opinion, Daz, and come in on this, I think if we're struggling with PSR, we need to make some money. I think they're going to look more to the fringe players again to move on, rather than one of our top elite level players. What do you think of Jimmy's questions and that response?
Yeah, no, I would agree. The French players selling them. We don't want to. We're not going to be selling Isak. The only way an Isak sale comes about is we don't get European football. Maybe even if we don't get Champions League football, it becomes a question. But if we don't get European football, we can't keep Isak because he's too good, and then we have a massive problem. That's why you have to make sure of it and get into Europe and hopefully get Champions League. So no, they won't consider it. It's what's the point then if we're selling one of our best players? What's the point of this project? Big serious questions if that was to happen. Like us. Wolfie is he's not angry, he's just disappointed. But
he's not disappointed. He's not disappointed. He's jumping for joy right now. Keeps us down there. We would have took them over today, which wouldn't have gone down well. And obviously, the other Forest fan duel was last weekend, desperate for our downfall. And there's this, there's a secret. There's a secret wish there that we didn't win today.
The Alliance. What about the Alliance?
The Alliance has got in the bib for now, anyway. When we play one of those teams around us, and when they come to St. James's Park next month, he'll want the Alliance back. That's for sure. No, great to see Wolfie. Pleasure as always. Top man. But yeah, just a little bit of credit here. We'll run through a few of these ones, but before we wrap him. Full credit to Areola. He's tactically immense and has been all season. We've had a terrible injury record, produced a performance like that. There were some warning signs for us in the Wolves game. I would agree with that. I think he's... You know what it reminded me of, Daz? It reminded me of Newcastle United last season. I know we had some really poor moments in December, but, when we had a real, moment where we were struggling, we still beat the likes of Chelsea. We beat Arsenal last season. We beat Man United with a depleted squad. It was for me, I'm looking at what Bournemouth did, and it reminded me of some of the results that we picked up last season. But Areola's quality manager, doing some fantastic work.
Yeah, he is, and I did see the back of the net crew. They tweeted out the list of players, and there was a long list of players that are injured. So, credit to them and credit to the manager. It's going to be hard to keep him the way he's going. If the big vacancy appears, his name is going to be all over. I remember. Dan Lawless calling for him for West Ham at one point, but he's bigger fish to fry if a big job comes on the market.
Definitely. I know Deji, big fan of him, would want him if Hans got sacked, and I think he would be the next go-to manager if any one of the sort of the top level, top 6, top 8 managers got sacked. I think he would be the next go-to. That is for sure. So let's wait and see. One thing I don't agree with here, ADB, great to have you in the chat. I don't agree with this. The ref was weak. I think I just don't want to use the ref as an excuse for the reason why we lost today, because it was the fact that Bournemouth was a better team than us. I don't want to use that. I don't think he was that weak. I thought he made some tough decisions. I actually, you know what I liked about the referee, and jump in with this, Daz, is that I like the fact that he didn't go around throwing bookings around, particularly in the first half.
He let the game flow.
He did. Go on, mate. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you're saying there, because I heard the chant going around about the ref and stuff, but it wasn't the ref. It was us. It wasn't the ref that was the issue. No, he let the game flow. It did get a bit tasty. Then other refs could have given yellow cards left, right, and centre, and it mightn't have got as tasty. But usually that suits us. That usually suits us, and it suits Joe Linton anyway. Bruno got a few free kicks. He potentially could have got a few more, but no, I can't really pin it on so much on the ref either.
Nah, not for me. Alan Thompson says the lads just one positive. Botman is not injured, but you have to hit the nail on the head. Our lack of pace is frightening bad. Yeah, it is. This is why Eddie Howe wanted Mark Gay. He wants to add pace to this defensive line, and it kind of adds into another question here. Actually, John put in here, lads, can anyone explain why Eddie Howe wanted 70 million Gay when Dean Huijsen was available for 15 million? Eddie Howe recently confirmed signing Gay would have forced us into selling one of our elite players. John also says Huijsen for 15 million bargaining season. Eddie Howe spent all summer chasing Gay. One thing I'll just add on that is that Huijsen isn't the same makeup as Mark Gay. They were clearly Newcastle United are clearly looking for a certain type of player to play right centre back. They could have got Huijsen for 15 million, but we've already got Botman for it's already in the squad. They've got Dan Burn. Huijsen is very much a similar mould to those type of players. He isn't blessed with explosive pace, but he is tall, he's big, he's physical. He's got a decent pass on him. He is almost like the Botman type player. And I almost feel like they're trying to find a new partnership to take us forward, which is why they're looking for a certain type of player. But, what are your thoughts on what John said, both things regarding Dean Huijsen and Mark Gay?
Well, I think Claire's point here links into it. She says we missed out on some great foreign signings. And if you think back to that point, when we were talking about Huijsen in our fully loaded transfer shows in the summer, and Mark Gay, the whole drama in the background was Paul Mitchell coming in, and him coming in mid transfer window. It did not, nothing worked. We should not be in that position. We shouldn't be in it now, and we shouldn't be in it in the summer. So you imagine that we will be dipping into the foreign market and getting some of the best of what's available, and maybe someone tapping into those unheard of gems through Paul Mitchell and his contacts. But yeah, it is a pity, and it could have gone the other way for him as well. But no, he does look good, Huijsen. He did look really good today. But we move on. There are plenty of other players we missed out on, and plenty as well that we're probably glad we missed out on as well. So it's one of those things. We go again.
We do. We absolutely do. The comment in here, Gordon offered no support to Hall and Murphy. Was similar with Tino. I have to be honest, I don't think any of the midfield or the wingers offered any support to any of the defence today. Do you agree with that, Daz?
Basically, Gary was a shit show. Apart from Trinali, was a shit show. But it hasn't been to the previous 9, so let's hope it's just a bad day at the office. Yeah.
A word on Semenyo here. As mentioned twice, Semenyo showed us what a great what a great right wing looks like, and ask the question: doesn't Eddie like Semenyo?
Yeah. Semenya was playing on the left today, but he's predominantly a right winger. But they had Brooks on the right. The other thing is, to me, today wasn't his best game. He got a knock earlier on, and it did slow him down a bit. But I watched him in the game against Chelsea, and he was absolutely class. Again, he was playing on the left wing, but he was tracking back as well, and he was. It was like, why do we not go after him? I think he's 25, but it's not a bad age. But yeah, I'd sign him myself. I'd go for Semenya, but I don't know. Then if do we blow a budget going for him? Because I'd say at least 50 million to get him.
Apparently, he used to live in Newcastle.
Really?
Yeah. I think Semenya, he used to live in Newcastle. So I'm sure someone. Yeah, because he had a short loan spell, a very short loan spell with Sunderland. When in his younger days, and he lived in Newcastle, so he obviously knows the city quite well. And it definitely adjust to it quite quickly. But he was electric today. That for me, Semenyo, the way he played against Tino, I haven't seen Tino struggle as bad as that for a long while. He really gave Tino the runaround, particularly in that first half. I know he got a bit of an ankle injury, and I thought at one point it was going to come off. And after that, really never kind of hit that height again, because it was obviously an injury that was affecting him. But lightning quick. Like he just lightning quick. Probably should have scored in the first half as well. Blazed one over, and I thought he looked really threatening constantly throughout that game.
Do you remember my theory from a week ago? I said, we were saying that Newcastle have a right wing target, and Mallon was the backup. I know Mallon's now gone to Villa, and we were kind of, myself and you were saying not so sure about Mallon. Chris was probably going for Mallon, and then I said, I wonder, is that target? Is it Semenya, and that we wouldn't move on him until after this game, and with the gap then between the next game, that this could be the week that we. It was just a theory, but I don't know. I don't really believe it myself.
Stranger things have happened, mate. Stranger things have happened. I mean, well, what I will say is it will make it difficult now, because they are literally a point behind us. Would they really sell one of their best players when they're right in the race with us? I'm not quite sure. I think that'll be the one thing that will maybe halt that deal. They'll want to keep hold of him until the end of the season and evaluate where they are. If they get European football, they'll probably want to keep him and give him a new contract. Like, they're not going to want to get rid of one of their best players. If they're picking up European football, they're going to want to keep him. And if they get European football, they probably won't need to financially sell him anyway. So there's lots of factors there, which is why I think like him and Brian and Bremo are the two right wingers. If we were to sign someone in this country, that we would go for. But I think Bill's made a really good point here. I'll just find it again. He's put here, Semenya is not worth the amount of money it would cost to get him out of Bournemouth, and I kind of agree there, because we're in a position where we have to be careful of PSR, and we have to make sure that we're not just splashing loads of money on one player, like Mark Gay, for example. We have to be smart with it, and signing a player, a right winger, a key position from a team in this country is going to cost 20, 30, maybe even 40 million more than it would if we got a player from Europe, which is why I think Paul Mitchell has been signed, because I think they want to look to the European market. So even though I like these players and would love them to come to Newcastle, I've just in my mind, I'm convinced in myself that they're going to go to Europe to get these players. And that's just kind of where I'm at mentally with the whole situation.
Yeah, I hope they do. But then again, we always link back to we haven't had our first signing yet under Paul Mitchell, and it's Paul Mitchell bringing in someone that he really wants. We talked about Mark Gay, but 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Absolutely. Carl says disappointed by the result, but seeing the the crack last Wednesday. Hopefully, this is a blessing. A full week on the training pitch, and head to the South Coast. Next 3 games are huge for us. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, Carl.
It's simple, really. Bill says, as per usual, Newcastle fans have got ahead of themselves, and Bournemouth game brought us back down to earth. We probably won't sign anyone and still get Champions League football. What do you think of Bill's comments there?
I hope Bill's right. And I did laugh. And we had it from people in our chat. I had it on messages as well. So I'm saying, are we in a title challenge? And I just no, we're never in a title challenge. We're on a good run, and it bodes well for European football and hopefully Champions League. But stop there. Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple of last questions here. Last couple of questions. Aris Bear says, just joined. You think we'll sign anyone if Miggy goes? We've had the conversation before, Aris Bear. Go back and watch it for sure. PSR situation can't be as bad as it being made out. We're all speculating, I think, aren't we, about the situation. I don't think anybody outside of the club knows what their PSR situation is.
No, they don't. So yeah, we'll see. You would hope though, if Miggy and Kelly, or Miggy, Kelly and Target, or whoever, Longstaff, whoever. Actually, Sean Longstaff wasn't on the bench, was he today? Miley was on the bench.
Drop your team.
I have it here. Yeah.
Hold on, let me take the comment away.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Longstaff and Miley. I think it was Target was the main one that was missing.
Today.
Target.
But yeah, if we sell someone and we get a bit of cash in, you imagine it would free us up to bring someone in some capacity.
Yeah, definitely. Last couple. I'll end on Mercury's comment, but Jessica says, "Can I be a moderator, please?" What we'll say, and I think Daz, you'll agree, if anyone wants to be a moderator, drop us a DM on X, and let us know, and we'll definitely consider it. Because if you're a regular on tuning in to Loaded Mag NUFC, it'd be great to have you as a moderator. Obviously, keep an eye on the chat. And making sure everything in the chat's appropriate. Because as you saw tonight, sometimes when we're monitoring things and having conversations, sometimes things get missed, and we're trying to make sure everything's clicking together. And
especially if we have a guest on and the chat goes crazy, we could be 20 minutes behind the chat, and it's hard to know what's happening in the chat, what fights are happening in there, or what's being said. So it is helpful that the moderators keep an eye on things. But yeah, let us know, Jessica. We'll try to sort something out.
Last one. We could, we're not going to, but we could go full Mikel Arteta and do what Mercury suggested. Let's just chalk this up to experience and blame the ball being too heavy. Easy. Yeah, we could, but we're not going to. We're better than that, aren't we, Daz?
Yeah, no, definitely the best team. One credit to Bournemouth. They put a decent squad together, and they're really punching now. So fair play to them. Apart from ourselves doing well, it's great to see them doing well as well. So and again, back of the net guys, a great bunch of lads. I know they provided some input into away days, and always good guys to work with.
And the last part of Richie's initial message here, put big up legends. You let me down today. Chelsea fear Newcastle and Chalobah back on loan or back off his loan for Palace to Chelsea. Is there to obviously help and strengthen them. Everyone hit the likes and subscribe, and we haven't said that today, but we've had so many in the chat tonight. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But yeah, get those likes up. Let's get 150, 200 likes. Daz, you set the target as we wrap up.
All right, if we get 2 likes, we'll be happy today.
Not more than 2.
Nah, look, hit that like button. Hit that like button if you're not happy with the performance today. There we go. When we get back in our winning ways again, we'll put something together. We might have something different as well to play out to cheer people up. But no, not today. Not in a downer. We need to be on a high.
Yeah, definitely. That's it for the questions. Mate.
That's it for the questions. That's it pretty much for the show as well. Look, we will be back. We myself and yourself, Pete, must have a little chat and see what we're doing next. But we have a few ideas for shows during the week, and the transfer window is still open. So Fully Loaded Transfer Show. Expect more to come from Loaded. But thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Look, if I was to say one thing, don't let this ruin your weekend. It usually does us as well. But the 9 games that we've been winning, we've been on, we'll get there again. Let's get back on to winning ways next weekend, and more good times to come this season.
And Bill, that comment is absolutely spot on. Yeah, people in the chat, sometimes we don't always agree on our opinions, but it's great to come in and have some great conversation. Hey, this is therapy. We're all hurting right now. We're all frustrated. We're all annoyed that we've lost, but this is why we get through it. And look, as I said, chin up. 9 in a row. We've lost 1. Okay, let's go and hit back and win next week. Come on.
Right, that's it from us. Peter's going to pour me a brandy. We'll see you in the next one. Good luck, everyone.
Join me.
Each and every single day, I know I'm going to have to eventually